going to be talking about a pen by this brand, AP Limited Editions. This was lent to me by my mate Murray, who had just purchased this, and I thought this would be a fun pen to review because this is a pen from a brand that I have never reviewed before. So I thought it would be interesting to try and have a look at this. I'm going to cover the parts of the pen. I will do a writing sample and I'll tell you what I like about it and what I don't like about it. Let's get started. Okay, so here we have the AP Limited Editions, and this is actually the Apprentice The Stealthy Tiger. So the Apprentice series of AP pens, because AP pens can be very expensive, is a series meant to make these pens a little bit more affordable. Now, this particular model has an MSRP of 900 US, but is currently on sale at Chatterley Luxuries, which I think is where Murray got it, if I remember correctly, for 495. So that's quite a substantial reduction. The box is nice, has a nice texture to it, comes with some paperwork in an actual envelope, which I think is quite nice. So we have the Stealthy Tiger, Master Artist Kobayashi, and there's some filling instructions there as well. I'm just going to put this gently back. There is also a certificate of authenticity stamped by Chatterley Luxuries. I'm just trying to put that back because I don't want to get ink all over that. It slips into the box here, which is quite nice and fancy. And then here you can lift out this piece, and there you have the pen. Now, let's talk about this pen. I'm just going to put this box out of the way. Here we have the Apprentice Stealthy Tiger pen, and here we have a Pilot Metropolitan as a comparison in just for size. You can see this pen is a bit more girthy. It's not the world's longest pen, and these two weigh about the same. So let's cover the parts of the pen. We have the AP logo right there on the finial. Then we have this clip, which I'm sure is bamboo, or meant to I mean, it's not made of bamboo, it's made to look like bamboo. We have the gold color on the barrel, and then we have the Stealthy Tiger, which I initially thought was a sticker because it seems to be raised a bit, but it's actually lacquer artwork. That wasn't meant to be deprecatory, because it just, like, it seems to lie on top of the barrel, but that's just the way it is. Limited edition, number 3 out of 18, so early run, that is nice. And then we have the actual pen. Sorry, obviously this is the pen, the nib. So it's an 18 karat nib, and I think, so okay, let's talk a little bit about the section. Tapers down. I couldn't come up with the expression. Sorry, tapers down, flares out a little bit. It's not a huge pen, and it looks with this back like it looks like it will post, but it actually doesn't. That does not. The cap does not stay on there. The first thing you notice, I think, when you hold this pen is that it's incredibly light. There's almost no weight to it, and the pen itself weighs less than 20 grams, so it is definitely a lighter piece, which is quite interesting. It is fed through cartridge-converter, and I'm just going to be able to do the writing sample, I think, with what is left in here. And that's pretty much it. So why don't we have a quick look at how the pen writes. And I will say immediately, sorry, I'm terribly sorry. I don't know what ink is in here. Murray lent it to me inked up. AP, I'm going to just write down Tiger, because I don't want to write down the Apprentice Stealthy Tiger, if you don't mind. The nib, I couldn't find a grade, but I'm going to go with something in the medium range, and the ink we don't know. It's a smooth writer. and I find it relatively wet, which is nice. I haven't primed the feet or anything. This is just out of the box, actually having not been used for a couple days. Round nib, as always, very careful, but I think you will agree that there is a little bit of softness to this nib. So again, this is not my pen. I'm very careful with this. I could probably, were it mine, I would be able to push it a little harder, but it's not a flex nib, right? It just happens to have a little bit of springiness to it. It shouldn't be treated as a flex nib. Well, as you can see, some line variation is definitely possible, which is quite nice. As to reverse writing, it's possible. It's not super scratchy, it will run dry a bit, but you can probably get away with a few words, and you do go a grade below what it typically is, which is quite nice. So here we have this pen. I think it is definitely interesting lacquer work on it. I think we need to talk about likes and dislikes. Let's do that now. What can we say about the AP limited editions pen? Well, it's an interesting pen. The lacquer artwork is quite nice, and I do really enjoy that. I also like that AP, that typically can make very expensive pens, has seen this need for a, relatively speaking, this is a very relative thing, but relatively speaking more affordable range of pens with the Apprentice series. The artistry is good, it looks good. I think there is a lot to be said for this pen, and I quite like it. I will also say I find the pen to write very nicely. It's a very pleasant, comfortable nib that I really enjoy. Things I don't like so much. Well, there are two things. My first issue with the pen, and that's, I don't know if it's a fair issue, but it is incredibly light. You barely feel that you're holding anything. I mean, to me it feels almost platinum preppy light. Like there is almost no weight as you hold this pen. Or think of a say an Amiki Falcon, for example. It's not, you're just so incredibly light. I don't know if it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that was something that really struck me as I picked up this pen for the first time. The second issue that I had with this particular pen is that the clip, the clip is really quite wobbly, and there is a screw on the inside of the cap, and I thought, well, let's just try and gently screw, you probably can't see that because of the light, but let's try to screw that in so it's a little tighter. It did nothing, so it just has a wobbly clip. For a $900 pen, I think that's a bit of an issue. Sure, it's now on sale for $4.95, but I mean, I would expect a tight clip, right? I mean, now I don't know if it's just this pen. It's always the dilemma when you review this stuff. I only have one, so I don't know if it's always the case or if it's only this model. But I just thought that was a little remarkable that it just had that looseness, because it's almost like a pendulum. Relatively speaking, for this brand, an affordable pen with some nice artwork on it, which I think appeals to specific collectors. Not everybody likes this kind of lacquer artwork, but some people really do. And these pens can easily be well into four figures, and this, especially if it's on sale for a price like this, I think that is relatively affordable. I know that $500 is not affordable, but I'm saying relatively affordable. If you look at some of the other pens that AP does and their prices, I think it is really not terrible. So, I hope that was useful, and I'm glad to see you later. Bye-bye.